who is landed an ideal job at an enormous mansion through his wife's art world connections. Art world. But when he discovers dark secrets in the basement, he's unable to bring it up with his soon-to-be wife or employer for fear of losing his much-needed job. She's already sacrificed her entire art career to support him by working in a departmental store. Soon, he knows he will have to get himself and his young family out of trouble. That's the main premise of White Crane Strikes. This novel has been written in two viewpoints, that of JJ's and his wife-to-be, Dallas. And tonight I'm going to try to read in American. I don't believe that I'm faking or culturally inappropriate, because I did write 74,000 words in the characters' voices in American. However, I'm not a trained actor, so please forgive me, or at the very least, please just put up with it for 3 minutes. Okay, so the first reading will be from JJ's viewpoint. And this is from the start. The door opened. "Well, hello, and good morning," said the old man. The "well" made him sound friendly. He was frail, with sparse, fine white hair, a little stooped, and his voice was thin. He was wearing clothes from at least 100 years ago. No, maybe 30. But at least he was well dressed. At least he was dressed. You heard of old people who wore what they slept in all year round. "How do you do? You must be Jerry, Jerome Syracuse Lee. You can call me JJ. Everybody do. I mean, does." JJ lost the ability to speak. Not that he was a great speaker in the first place. He had always been the quiet type. Lord knew how many got into trouble for opening their cake cave. "Well, which do you prefer?" "Jerry, sir," he answered, which sounded better than JJ in a job situation. Jerry was what the guys at the Steel Works called him. His great-grandparents had been alive when he was born, and they nicknamed him JJ, a double-dub American version of his Cantonese name, Zha. Zha. Like many Chinese words, it had multiple interpretations based on context. Zha meant thanks, apologies, and also the withering of flowers. That pretty much summed up life. "Alfred Sutton," he held his hand out, which JJ firmly shook. "You can call me Alfred." "Yes, sir." "Italian?" asked Mr. Alfred. How to explain this, thought JJ. Syracuse, his mother's surname, gave away that he was Sicilian and one from New York. Yet his origin wasn't easily explainable. His father was Chinese. He liked that Li could be American or Chinese, and no one could tell, which meant that depending on the situation, he was indeed both. His great-grandparents had been from Canton. Coincidentally, they had the same surname, Li. Marrying someone with the same surname was believed to be a curse, bringing bad luck to the whole family. JJ's grandmother's name was Lei Cha. Lei Cha. She didn't have a name, just a practical use. Cha meant tea. They called her Cha, Cha, when they wanted tea. JJ was a true American from everywhere. Sharing the same surname as Bruce Lee was a source of pride for a kung fu guy like JJ. I'm from Beecher, Illinois, he replied, as plainly as facts allowed. Robert Ellsworth, Mr. Alfred said, and then elaborated when J.J. blinked. The professor, a good friend, he sent you. Yes, no, my girlfriend, fiancée. He tripped over the word. Fiancée, she told him. Not fancy, hun. It's foreign. And small talk was foreign to him too. He left all that to Dallas, the art world, and so on. She told me about the job. Come on in. Let me show you around. I have my resume here, sir. J.J. reached in his black leather and chrome briefcase, now redundant. Brand new and bought by Dallas for him, from Marshall Fields. Mr. Alfred smiled, showing his false teeth, white and straight. And then he shook his head and waved as though waving an insect away. Dallas said she'd easily return the briefcase for a refund, since he'd never use it again. If Mr. Alfred did not want his resume, or if by some insane chance J.J. wasn't hired. The old man already trusted him. Dallas found out about the job through the professor at the art school. The professor, she'd said, trusted her in return. He was probably sweet on her. They all were. She was a work of art. Thank you. So that